Thanks for tuning in. I thought that I'd start my first YouTube channel with my first video, and I thought what could be any better than my favorite things that I like to use while I'm running. So let's get started into it. This shoe right here is the Saucony Ride. I've literally had probably, I'm not kidding, 25 pairs of this thing ever since I started running. It's a great moderate cushion neutral shoe. As you can see, this one's been a little bit worn, but it still has a lot of life to it. But I've had great success with this shoe, and just because I've had success with it doesn't mean that it's a great shoe for everyone. Some shoes that I'd probably like to compare this one to would be the Brooks Ghost, which is a very common, popular running shoe, and the 880 from New Balance as well. I also have an insole inside of this guy because it's one of my work shoes, and this is the Curex insole. It's made for people who have medium arch height, which is something that I do have. And normally I don't run with it because I don't like having extra cushioning or something that's touching my arch while I'm running because it starts to bother me a little bit. But I recommend getting an insole for standing on hard surfaces, or if you just need a little bit extra support while you're running, because it does make a huge difference while you have something touching your arch. And this is also not the new updated Saucony Ride. I unfortunately got this a few weeks before the Saucony Ride ISO 2 dropped, but I've tried the iOS 2 and it's a great update. It actually made the ride seem a little bit more smoother to run in, and it has a lot more cushion inside of it. Something else cool to add to this is the cool cushioning system that's inside of it. So once you take the insole out and look inside, you can kind of see this styrofoam stuff that's right here, and when you squish it, it kind of gives a little bit, like a little bit of a bounce, sort of, kind of like a bouncy ball. And something really cool about this shoe is when you take out all of this foam that's inside of it, you can roll it up into a ball, and you can actually bounce it back and forth like a bouncy ball. So that's also something really cool about this shoe. But this has been a great shoe for me. I've actually recently switched, and I've been running in a shoe called Hoka. Hoka makes shoes that are very comfortable for people. A lot of people who are on their feet all day love wearing these shoes because of how much cushion and support is inside of them. Another interesting fact about Hoka is their cushioning. It kind of feels like a marshmallow when you first put your foot into it, but not all their shoes are as aggressive in cushion. This one is a high cushion neutral shoe, so this is like the ultimate big daddy of them all, if you want to put it that way. But this is a great shoe. I've had great success with it. I ran a half marathon in it a few weeks ago, which is odd for me because I've sworn by the Saucony Ride for, let's see, I started running when I was 13. So 6.5 years. Yeah, 6.5 years. And normally you're supposed to change your shoes every 6 months, but I burned through them in 3 months. So maybe I'll go back to the Ride, maybe I won't, but I really like this guy. I also tried the new Carbon X out the other day while I was at work, and I don't really like the carbon plate that's there. It just didn't seem great for me. I think that if you really wanted to run fast for a long distance, it'd be a great shoe, but if you're just running around the block, I probably wouldn't recommend it because the carbon plate's supposed to propel you forward in a sense. But anyway, and no, this one doesn't have an insole. It just has the stock liner that comes in it. And you can kind of see like where my feet are. That's actually really funny. But no, I've had this shoe for about, I don't know, maybe since March? Maybe late March. I don't really remember. Another shoe that I have is the Wave Knit Rider from Mizuno. Mizuno's not really a shoe company that you hear about much because it's a very running store specialty shoe. Cool thing about Mizuno is it's got this cool wave plate technology. So as you can see oh, this is so weird. I've never done a video before. As you can see, like right in here, this blue line right here, that's like considered the wave. So that's where all your cushion and support is going to be, is in the back half of this area. And essentially as it goes down the line in Mizuno shoes, the wave gets more aggressive. So this is just a lightweight, moderate cushion neutral shoe because I don't necessarily run with stability, nor do I need stability, even though I've been recommended to have stability. I just don't like it. So like a high cushioned stability shoe from Mizuno. So like for example, the Wave Horizon, this wave plate right here would be very aggressive. Now I know that you guys probably don't know anything about that, but maybe if I go to work someday, I could bring you guys with me and I could show you some shoes. But yeah, I've not ran in this, so I can't tell you how I like it. I go to work in it sometimes, and the drop to me is a little bit high. I personally don't like high drop shoes because I've switched to Hoka, and Hoka's a 4mm drop. So what a drop is essentially, I know I'm all over the place, but what a drop is your heel to toe ratio. So when we walk barefoot, our heels and our toes hit the ground at virtually around the same point. So when we put our shoes on, there's different drops to them. So like for example, this guy has a 12mm drop. So your heel right here is essentially raised 12mm. So your heel is going to hit the ground first before your toes do. And then if you want me to go through it, in the Ride, this is an 8mm drop. And then in the Hoka, this guy right here, it's a 4. So you're virtually going to hit the ground sooner. Your toes and your heel is going to hit the ground sooner in this guy than it is than the other two, relatively at the same time. But yeah. Another thing that I really like to use is compression socks. Now, all throughout middle school and high school, I've worn several different kinds of compression socks, and I really haven't been able to find the one compression sock that just makes me feel like I could do virtually anything in it. So I'm very chronic to having shin splints and calf problems, and when I don't have compression socks on me, I can instantly feel my shins like starting to ache, which I know sounds nuts, but trust me, I get in the shower and I start to feel it. Because I have to take my socks off. Who bathes with socks on? That's just kind of weird. But anyway, there's this company called CEP, and they make great compression socks. My favorite one, personally, is their recovery socks, like for traveling. I know it's supposed to be just for traveling, but I find that the travel socks work the best for me. But their medical grade compression, I believe that it's a 30 to 40 mmHg. So it's medical based compression. So it's not like your average like Walmart compression sock that's like 10 to 20. It's a legit medical grade compression sock. Compression is great for aiding in recovery. So after you finish a long workout or a long shift where you're sitting on your feet all day, by putting on a compression sock will help redistribute some of that pressure that's down there, and it'll also increase blood flow in that area. And plus, it feels kind of cool to have to know like this is doing so much to you. And just by adding compression socks will make the difference of a world. Now there's two ways to put this guy on because it is tight and it's supposed to feel virtually kind of like a glove. The first way to do it is just your normal, just put it on like how you normally do, like this. Oops. I should have got that other one. I just don't know where it is. It's probably in the laundry, honestly. And that's what it looks like. See, just standard average. And they also make calf sleeves for some people who have difficulties getting these on. So like when an old person comes into work and says that they need compression socks, I recommend trying a calf sleeve, which, let me go grab that real quick. I should have been more prepared. I'm sorry. So what a calf sleeve does is it's just going to do virtually the same thing, but it's just the sleeve. So you just put this guy on. Here. And then I got to show the other way. I got to show the other way to put the compression stuff on. I don't know how YouTubers do this. They must have to like plan their videos out in advance because this is literally on the spot and on the fly. But yeah. Oh, I got to show you. So this is just what the sleeve looks like. As you can see, it's not exactly covering my feet at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put on just a sock. So this is a synthetic sock. It's made with a material that'll wick away moisture and it'll prevent blisters from happening. So unlike your normal cotton sock, like for example, this guy right here, when you start to sweat, your sock is just going to absorb that moisture, and that's going to cause blisters and calluses to happen, and it's going to be very uncomfortable. Now trust me, When I used to wear Nike compression socks, my feet would look terrible. I thought I had the worst feet ever because I'd have blisters all across everywhere. I was losing toenails, some of them were red, and I started to wonder, like, what's going on? Is my shoe too small? Or am I tying my laces too tight, which I kind of do tie them too tight, but my feet weren't falling asleep. So I started to wear like the CEP compression socks because those are also made with a synthetic material, and my blisters haven't been nearly as bad, and I've also been running a lot more than I used to in high school. But yeah, just by putting this guy on, and then this is kind of like the saying, sorry that cut out. I ran out of storage, so I had to go pay like $1 to have like 50 more gigs a month on my iCloud, which is kind of funny in my opinion, because just my luck, this would happen. Anyway, I was talking about this plantar fasciitis sock, which let me just show it to you. So the cool thing about plantar fasciitis, this sock, is plantar fasciitis is a common problem with runners or people who have foot issues because it's like the tightness of the foot, and it's also very painful and can happen for prolonged periods of time. So some things that I'd recommend for someone to get over plantar fasciitis or to help alleviate some of that pain would not only be this sock right here, which this is a legit plantar fasciitis sock. So it's also a compression sock, so it constricts your foot, so it holds your foot in place, and it also stabilizes your foot, and it also allows for blood flow to go through all out these areas. And this is from a company called Ost One, and they make also different types of compression socks. Like they also make compression socks. They make ankle compression. They also make bunion relief socks, which is actually really cool. I actually might have a pair around here somewhere if I get back, if I remember to find it. I know I literally just found it the other day. But anyway, the other trick that I can show you with that compression sock that I was going to show you is, let me just take it off real quick, is if you roll it. So this is a sock, just normally. So if you turn it inside out, like this, you can slide your foot. So you like pull it together, like so. It's the sock's inside out, and if you want to pull it to like out like this and stick your leg through here, it's going to be a lot easier because it's not going to be as tight, because really all of that tightness is going to be in this area right here once you put your leg in, so it can help stabilize your leg as well. Let's get into some other things. Now, I know I always wear Crocs. I'm very Croc loyal. I've had 2 pairs of Crocs, and yes, I still wear my Crocs, but my store also carries recovery slides, which is this guy right here. It's also made from a brand called Hoka. Now, this is also like a low drop sandal as well, but it's a recovery sandal, so it has a lot of cushion inside of it, and it essentially feels like it rocks you back and forth just like it does in the shoe because of the Metarocker that's inside of it. But a lot of people love these recovery slides because it absorbs 33% of the shock, and what I mean by that is it returns 33% of the energy that you use when you walk on it because of how much cushion is inside of it. But I love these things. I always wear them to work after I do a hard run or a long run, or really any type of run, because I don't like to wear shoes sometimes when I'm at work, because I just feel like I like wearing them because it helps me recover. Something else that I like, this isn't my favorite flavor of a gel or a goo. I don't have my favorite flavor on me because I used most of them on my last on my half marathon. But the importance of a gel is to get in for every hour that you run, you're supposed to get in about 100 calories, which is this guy right here. And what this is it's just simple carbohydrates. So it's virtually just sugar and some sweeteners that are inside of it. But it's supposed to help you not hit the wall, or to help stabilize your energy while you're out there for an hour to 2 hours, depending on how long it is. I'd recommend taking one every hour. So if you're running a half marathon, depending on how fast you'd run it, I'd probably say a safe bet is to bring 2 or 3 with you. But a good thing to do is to also try them out on your longer training runs, so you know which flavor you like and which flavor works for you. Some of these flavors come in caffeine, so if your stomach's very sensitive, I probably wouldn't recommend you trying something that has caffeine in it. But I've never had this flavor. I normally get birthday cake or I think it's like espresso lovers or something like that. But yeah, I've had great success with these guys, but they're pretty cool. I'll have to try this one and tell you how it tastes. Another thing that I like to use is this Nuun stuff. Now, a lot of athletes also like to drink something called Gatorade or Powerade, which I know you guys have heard about. But the cool thing about Nuun is it comes in these little tablets right here. And you just put this tablet in 8 ounces of water, or a full bottle of water if you want. And it is like a Powerade in one almost. So you just put it in the bottle and it dissolves. And it's got all those electrolytes and amino acids that you sweat out while you're running or doing long cardiovascular activities. You can just put this in here, and it's got magnesium, calcium, sodium, and potassium. Everything that you virtually sweat out while you're doing exercise. But it's great stuff. It's great for people who are very diabetic because it only has 1 gram of sugar in it. And it's made with all natural ingredients too, as well. But I'd recommend taking one of these guys because they taste really good, and to me, it's easier for me to get this down than like a bottle of Gatorade, depending on how I feel. Well, thanks guys for tuning in. I'll probably be trying to post a video once a week because I think this is actually kind of cool. If you guys have any ideas of what I should do, feel free to send them to me. I'd love to make like a comedic video because I'm normally a very funny person. So something that I do actually want to add into it is my favorite thing to eat outside of, like once I'm done running. Let me grab that real quick. So unfortunately, I don't have my favorite cereal with me because we're all out of it. But this is called drumstick cereal. It's a very, this is called drumstick cereal. It's mint chocolate flavored. It's actually terrible. It's literally terrible. So I probably wouldn't recommend buying this. But I used to have this cereal account where I'd like review a new cereal every week, and I just got embarrassed by it, so I took it down. But this doesn't taste like mint chocolate chip. I'm gonna tell you right now, this is what it looks like. Let me show you like a combination, because it's got 3 different little things. So it's like virtually like a Golden Grahams mixed with like Cocoa Puffs. And then I don't know what this third guy is. I really don't know. But this third guy does not taste like mint. I know that they have like a sweet vanilla flavor. And I might give that a try. But normally I like to stick to the basics of what I'm used to. So Golden Grahams. Maybe throw in some Lucky Charms there. I don't really like plain Cheerios. So I wouldn't say go eat your plain Cheerios. But just go get Golden Grahams. That's probably the best bet. Don't try the chicken waffle that tastes like crap, and don't put milk in that. But thanks guys for coming in. I enjoyed talking to you, and we'll see you next week, and we'll see where this goes. Thanks.